Love the detail. A little more utilitarian. Fresh and steamy. I don't even know what is fresh and steamy. I don't want to know. Like, what are y'all serving out here on these space stations? I've seen what you pick up in the vents. Yeah, the detail's great on items that are so modular. So let me give you guys a look at let me go back to the planetary setups, this kind of stuff here. So these, we've actually gotten some previews of the stuff that is meant to look more like this. Got this a while ago. Here's some of the concepts. And you can definitely see where, you know, they continued. You can see some of the stuff from number 5. Like a lot of this top row, I think, has a lot of influence there. And then this guy looks a little bit like a headhunter's dude, doesn't he? But maybe that's just because he's not wearing very much clothes. That's what they look like. So yeah, this was some of the old Frontier stuff. A little bit more of it here. They were always kind of focused on this sense of modularity in pouches and fabrics and cloths and stuff. And it looks like they stuck to it pretty well. Yeah, this is an engine. Yeah, that was some nasty side-eye. Is that an emote? Can I emote my eyes that hard into the side of my head? Then this helmet. This is a nice place to stop at. Everybody was like, oh, crap, okay.
Okay, awesome. So hopefully you guys that played Pirate Playground, you will have seen a few of those assets being showcased. So as we saw,
can confirm
video,
I have actually run into some of these assets in game already. At the CitizenCon, not the actual game.
And storage are a key part of the Frontier aesthetic. This drives the feeling of survivability. But from here, we thought it'd be really cool to give the functionality, but also some customization options. So let's take a look at a video we just developed internally. And this is for modular storage items on the player.
Okay, so what do you guys think of this? This was not, I didn't expect this. I expected them to show us backpacks over fabric before this. Actually, that reminds me. Hold on, we're gonna come back to this. We're at 5 minutes. Real quick, I forgot to point this out. Where is it? This is technically a backpack over clothing, right? You think with this set of assets, we're going to start to be able to wear backpacks without having to put on armor? Or is that just an NPC thing? Anyways, back to modularity. Morning, Stumafu, Bishop. So yeah, this is great. This is very cool. I'm wondering if there will be a way to expand the amount of places you can attach a bag. Different types of bags, different types of compartments. Overall, the idea of modular inventory, pretty sick. Yeah, after seeing that, you guys think it's going to be backpacks with clothing? I guess it makes sense. I mean, these are basically backpacks on clothing. They're just smaller. So, yeah, I think we can say that's pretty much confirmed. Corporal Brew, thank you so much for the 10 for the super chat. I did see somebody talk about the translation of the quantum economy conversation with Benoit. I have to check that out. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Pretty cool, right? So I think this will provide loads of customization options in the future. We're super happy about that. So we also created some extreme weather costumes for frontier locations, and these also follow the same mismatched and
yeah. So I'm betting. I mean, there's going to
aesthetics.
be downsides to these, right? I'm betting that it will slow down your movement. You're going to have more weight on you, and at some point, they're going to start to factor in mass for our stamina and stuff. I feel like that's a matter of time. So, yeah, I think this would make a difference with how much you can carry and how fast you can move and stamina you can use and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if it changed your hitbox too, if people could actually hit these bags, since a lot of things, the bullets go where they're actually supposed to go and all the stuff is physicalized. We don't know if that'll hurt you or what it will do, but people could shoot those bags as well. Not a big deal.
Now, we've also been focusing on achieving a higher visual benchmark. So this is all driven by our new Layer Blend V2 shader and its texture library. And we focus on more consistent wearing between 0 and 100% values. So to showcase this, let's look at a quick example asset.
Tuscan Raider vibes. I'm not even that crazy about this helmet, but the interior looks so cool. So freaking detailed.
All right.
Hey, Omar.
So as we saw in the video, the insides of the helmets are looking fantastic. Now, this is us getting them ready to animate with put on and take off.
So that's, you know what? We can find that. Y'all want to see if we can find that when that happened before? I think that's going to be a CitizenCon 2019, maybe? Let's see, CitizenCon armor is what I'm going to type in. It was this one.
So yeah, typically these things just pop onto the player, and normally this is fine. The gameplay aspect is totally fine here, but we want to give you, something better in the best damn space sim ever. It's got to feel like it's your helmet, right? So let's take a look at how we do this.
Oh, thank God that's over.
We can leave it looping for a while. We can go back. No,
please go for it.
Classic.
Okay, so let's take a look at what I'm talking about here. So on this one, let's just start from the beginning real quick. Now, like I said, showing off the visor effects here. It was great work by the VFX team. It's kind of nice to get that in. But let's go ahead and get some cover so we can dry off and check out these helmets. Now, right now, I'm wearing the light undersuit. And you can see some other helmets. We have a variety in the universe. So let's go ahead and pop off this guy. Take a look. And this is just the Odyssey helmet, classic. And these are some of the new options available to you once you unequip your helmets. Now we want the helmet to be a more personal experience. You want to be able to feel it, you want to be able to place it, you want to be able to throw it around, and that's exactly what I'm about to do, because I want a new helmet. Boom, get that out of here. Now, the Caldera helmet in front of me, I actually cannot equip this because I don't have the bespoke armor that's required to maintain it. So let's go ahead and take an inspect look real quick. He's okay, folks. Yeah, so because I can't wear that one, let's take a look at a classic over here. This one's more my style. I want to try out the S42 helmet. Kind of reminds me of old man, I like to role play a little bit. So let's go ahead and put this on, take another look at it. Now, the artist, especially Shane, puts a lot of work into these helmets, so you want to be able to inspect them. You want to be able to look around inside them, kind of see the detail we put in there for you. It's a completely immersive first and third experience. So, you know, even though you see it on the outside, you can see it on the inside. It's great stuff.
So,
I'm gonna take
like,
this little guy with me.
clearly they got that working in some closed environment, but they never brought it to the game. That's one of those things that kind of disappeared, and people were like, where is that? Now, obviously, everybody's talking about it. Now they're finally actually building the helmets out for it. And, you know, they're saying that, and you could say that they're just saying that. Obviously, don't believe it until you see it in game. But it makes more sense now with Squadron being where it is. I think that they would actually be approaching something like that.
So, in summary, Frontier Fashion is expanding the visual design palette for humans, giving a more credible feeling of age and history when you travel across multiple solar systems. All right, now let's talk about something different. Now we're going to talk about some of the gangs in Star Citizen. So, Ninetales have been one of the main gangs in the game. So far, over 105 million have been taken out by you guys.
Dude, that's absurd. Like putting aside the fact that people are playing the game, obviously, that's still a lot of enemies to kill. Considering how difficult it is to play this game at times, and how, you could take a mission and your mission could be broken. I'm surprised that we've had that many killed, but then again, I don't know how long that's been counted over. Because there was a time when Ninetales weren't actually Ninetales, they were just called Ninetales. So are they talking about Ninetales after they truly became Ninetales a couple years ago? Or are they talking about Ninetales ever since they were called Ninetales 6 years ago? That's a big difference.
So you guys have been busy. Great job. All right. So it was like, all right, now we're going to need to introduce a few more factions to the game. Okay?
Well, so yeah, if there's 5 million players, then that's a huge success. But I don't think there are. I think there's almost 5 million accounts. I think a small percentage of that actually plays the game. But like, if the number is able to get that big, assuming 20 people each killed a Ninetail, or one person killed 20 each, then that's a pretty healthy player base for a game in this state. Either way, let's continue.
So the first faction we're going to talk about is Rough and Ready. So the aesthetic of the gang was to be subtle. They're understated in terms of clothing, and they almost blend into their environment. On closer inspection, you'll notice their tattoos. These signify rank and progression within the gang. Let's take a look at a quick video.
I think it's a really cool pouch to keep your pistol there. Because we like to do so, here are some tattoo concepts from 2017. Back when they wanted to do tattoos and they were talking about delivering, and obviously people would see them and they didn't show up, and so it was assumed they weren't going to happen, and then boom, sometimes it just shows up out of nowhere. Pretty late, but
I think they look absolutely fantastic. Okay. So the Rough and Ready can be found in some of the space stations around Pyro. Now the tattoos, like I said, the tattoos form a progressive design. This illustrates the hierarchy within the gang. As a player, you'll be able to earn these tattoos and apply them to your character. Okay, cool. The next gang we're going to talk about is Headhunters. So this gang is also located in Pyro, but offers a completely different frontier aesthetic. More of a wasteland vibe with lots of personality, and this will translate into the behavior types. Now, this gang is currently in production, but let's take a quick sneak peek.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point in chat about the tattoos. It'll be good to see tattoos that aren't linked to the gang. You know, if those will be coming at the same time. For the most part, I think these guys look kind of generic. I think they look great. The details, the design, everything looks very great. But the gang themselves, their sort of style is a bit generic, which is fine, you know, kind of need that. You need your standard pirates, or you just need pirates of different flavors, really, since we already have Ninetales. Although, these are the headhunters, they're going to be in Pyro. Have they ever shown any type of accessories, like earrings, rings, piercings? They've shown them. Not for players, though. They do have a bit of a Mad Max vibe.
Okay, so cosplay competition next year. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. All right. All right, so they're looking awesome. Now, the last gang we want to talk about is Dusters. So Dusters are a criminal gang specializing in mining-related crimes. Now, internally, I love the original Desert Nomad armor. You can see him here, right? Now, I wanted to use it as a starting point to establish the Dusters design language. So here we can see...
These guys look pretty cool. Like, I would wear this, for sure. So, like, if I can run into a rare and take their armor, I'm good.
So here we can see the Dusters gang lineup, showing armor leveling and rarity. So as a player, you'll have horizontal armor progression. This will define your role and playstyle. Then you'll have vertical progression. This is your progression within that role and playstyle. For example, a common bounty hunter armor set will be weaker than a legendary, and as armor progresses in strength, it's harder to acquire. So harder missions, rarer drops, higher reputation. Now, as we're talking a little bit about armor sets, let's recap a little. So the goal is that players should consider which armor to equip based on the role they wish to fill and the scenario they're heading into. There will be also greater differences between the current armor types. So light, medium, and heavy, and this will be in protection and mobility. New armor categories will be combat, specialist, utility, and support.
So these like, just like these little things that they're, I mean, I'm at least hoping they're really starting to double down on because they've gotten past that sort of engine like they've gotten past the difficulty of the engine, and now they're really starting to look at actual game stuff. You know, what does an armor type look like? What does a outpost type look like? How do we change the outposts and keep their type, archetypes, and stuff like that? Like they talked about a lot more game stuff this CitizenCon, but when they talked about it, it sounded like there was actually legitimacy behind it. It wasn't just like a plan, like we want to do this or this is the plan, or there wasn't a sense of it's going to be here. There's more a sense of like we've been doing this behind the scenes and now we're just telling you, which has been nice. I don't know if they're going to do the same thing with all armor.
And these will define the type of items that are quickly available on the slots of the suit. There will also be additional functionality to assist in your chosen role. A matrix of armor type versus category will provide a variety of roles, with each providing best-in-class benefits. There will also be hindrances to out-of-role gameplay. For example, if you're wearing a heavy armor set and you're trying to fly a little snub fighter, you'll have restricted visibility and less vehicle control. So in this scenario, like a flight suit armor type with resistance to milder G-forces would be preferred. Okay. So as we saw in Ali's presentation yesterday, Hygiene simulates and tracks the accumulated effects of a character going unwashed for any length of time. Poor hygiene can lead to disease, lowered health, and snarky comments.
All right, so tell me your feelings on this. We've known about this, but I think this is the first time they've talked about it on a wider scale. Hygiene. Now, I'm cool with it as long as everything that is hygiene related factors into the same thing. If you have to like wash your hands and go to the bathroom and take a shower, and they're all different things, that'd be crazy. But I'm fine with it if, you know, it's like a generalized thing. And it's always made sense, you know. We were told that like mission givers, you know, they might say something about you if you come to them for a mission and you're not cleaned up. If there's somebody who's a little bit more fancy, might even not give you a mission.
Poor hygiene can lead to disease, lowered health, and snarky comments. Hygiene decays faster if a character becomes dirty or wears dirty clothing or armor, and visual effects are going to be displayed on the character's skin, such as blood, sweat, and dirt. Certain usables, such as a shower, will reset the character's hygiene and clean away all of those dirt effects. So let's keep clean. Yeah. Okay, so that covers a quick recap on armor sets and hygiene. Let's get back to a video showcasing the dusters.
You know what I like about this video? I don't think they show the legendary character. Now that might be because the asset isn't done, but I'm kind of want to believe that they don't show him because it's so legendary and so it's just so you don't see it that often, you know? One person sees it maybe every month or couple months or something. That would be cool. True legendary. Sorry, y'all. I had to screenshot something there. Honestly, this armor, does anybody else kind of get Elder Scrolls Oblivion vibes from this? Maybe it's just like it's the shoulder pads or something? I don't know. For some reason, this reminds me of Oblivion. I like it though. Destiny 3. Yeah, this definitely gives me Destiny vibes. It's a cool looking faction. I'm bummed that they only really do mining related stuff. Hopefully they can get creative with that idea, because I would love to see these guys more fight against them. So yeah, but the idea of going after different missions and running into different gangs is pretty cool. I love that when they do that in games.
Awesome. So you'll be able to find the dusters scattered around various derelict settlements and wrecks in Stanton. And the dusters will be available Q4 this year.
Hey! See now, that was also a nice change to this, right? You get to see these assets. They do all this, like they literally go through the whole thing. They show us like, where is it? Yeah, they show us the concept art, or I guess it's not concept art. They show us the pictures of it, the art, and then they show us like this nice video where it looks all clean, and they're just standing there, and you're like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, that's great, but like when? And then they come out, and they're like, it's coming in a month. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's great. And you know, we don't know what that means in terms of missions. Like I said, this could just be this faction coming in and replacing other enemies in missions we've already had. It's more than likely it, but it adds a lot of flavor to the game, and it builds out Stanton a little bit more. So we got light, medium, and heavy armor sets. They're going to be located around derelict settlements. Yeah, so it looks like they won't be on missions. They'll just be in the game. And their armor will be specialized to the different categories. So I guess this will be their chance to test out categorized armor or something. Yep, month is better than a year, better than 6 years. It's good stuff.
And with that, I'll hand you over to Sean Tracy. You guys have been awesome. Enjoy the rest of your show.
No, the only stuff that's coming at the end of the year is the stuff they specifically said. So not the UI stuff.
Hello, everyone. All right, so I'm Sean Tracy. I'm the Senior Director of Tools and Tech Content here at Cloud Imperium Games in Los Angeles. So today, I want to talk about Starcloth. And Starcloth was initially unveiled at a previous CitizenCon, kind of in an early stage. So it's now rolled into full production, and it's used in both Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. So it's going to be seen on more and more assets, like some of the great art that you just saw. So what's really cool about it is that it's unified with the physical world, whereas before, it wasn't unified and was based completely on character movement. Now, it's faster than the previous cloth setups, and in the end, it just looks a whole lot better. So today, I'm going to cover some of the tech, the pipeline, and we'll see some results. So let's get and see it in action. Trench coat. Cloth is hard. Guys have to run upstairs, they have to crouch, they have to prone. It's got to collide with the environment.
Starcloth. Now we looked at this. We just looked at this during that CitizenCon panel. CitizenCon cloth. Let's see if it pops up. Oh boy. No, it's just going to give me all the old ones, or the new ones rather. Oh, here we go. So, you know, they were working on this in a very prototype form,
yes,
as Sean Tracy said, and they were just kind of showing off what they wanted to get in engine. Now, obviously, we thought this would be in game sooner than it was, because they were showing stuff like this, you know, having it actually applied. This is the old Hurston armor. This is what it was going to look like. Very like dark. So they showed quite a bit of this stuff. a lot of the tech of how they were doing it, a lot of the tech they're about to show us again here. But this was like the beginning of the process, and I'm hoping this is the end, and that it comes in game, and it's functional and it's good, and you know, we're good to go.
And even more difficult, it needs to hold up in high-end cinematics. Cut that one just before some good spoilers, so yeah. All right, so how's it all work? Well, cloth uses two meshes, a simulation mesh or cage, and the render mesh itself. So vertex colors indicate how it's constrained to that cage, and thus the simulation. So for example, black vertex colors indicate a full constraint. Basically, it follows the skinning. White vertex colors indicate unconstrained vertices. So the movement is determined entirely by...
This looks familiar. Wait a second. I swear I just saw that slide. No, is it just it's just the modeling in game? It's like almost the same one though.
By the simulation. And then we can do a blend of gray values that is used for fine transitions and blending and fall off in between the fully skinned and fully simulated assets. So in the end, these meshes are sent to the engine where we bind the cage to the render mesh, and then tech artists can leverage some of the runtime tools. You can see up on the image that the sim cage mesh has about 5,000 triangles, whereas the actual render mesh is about 45,000 triangles. So it's obviously much more efficient to simulate the sim cage mesh versus just the render mesh itself. So part of the technology is the runtime iteration support, which you can see in the image above me here. That's with all the red spheres. Here we're actually painting the collision radius of every single one of the vertices. And
this would be that part of the monthly report in the engine section that I just kind of go over and don't know what they're saying. So I'm just going to let this one ride.
Allows us to fine-tune the simulation without having to add arbitrary collision meshes, though we can. We paint a variety of properties, so some of these other properties are mass or displacement. In the top right, you can see an example of the old legacy implementation using pendulums. And this uses joint chains and collisions, but assets with multiple layers like the one that you can see there, or ones like skirts or gowns, they were really, really difficult to do with pendulum simulation, but they are solved with StarCloth. So I mentioned it's completely unified with the physical world. And what that really means is that wind, impacts, object collisions, thruster backwash, all these kind of things actually react to the cloth reacts to these things, and so much more. So it's not just character movement. Now, it's a hyper-efficient simulation, and it's several orders of magnitude faster than the legacy implementation that we used before, and has a lot of easy-to-control parameters for tech art, which are compression, stretching, and bending. So as mentioned yesterday by Chris Rain, our senior lead physics programmer, we support soft body tapered capsules, which are twice as fast as our ragdoll capsules. It's also key to solving one of the most important aspects of plausible cloth simulation, and that's mitigating the tunneling or the clipping that happens through a character. So it's very, very difficult to solve with pendulums. So with all this tech in mind, we can do really complicated assets like the duster and the one I want to show you now. So here you're seeing about 5 different layers of cloth going on and self-colliding between each other. It's reacting to the planet wind, which is always changing.
That looks cool. I would like to see this over a flight suit. I'd like to see if we could do flight suits with some kind of clothing or cloth on top. I think that'd be a nice combo.
On the front, there's a big leather apron. So this one's actually a lot heavier, and it moves a lot differently than the cloth on the back.
Yeah, the material difference is pretty cool.
So he's walking into the wind here.
I really do
And
hope
in
this
the
can run
end,
on the servers.
As I mentioned, it just looks a whole lot better. So with that, I want to hand you off to my friend, Andre Piers, who's going to talk about hair.
And we have waited for hair.
Thank you, man. Hi, everyone. So, nice to be here in LA with all you guys. So, I want to start with a question, okay? How many of you are actually excited that we're getting new hair into the verse? All right. So, I'm Andre. I'm the lead artist in our recently formed hair department. We branched out from the character art team and created this department. And it's a pleasure to be here today with all of you and tell you that we're damn proud of what we achieved. It's been a long road, but definitely worth it, okay? Now, we're going to start by just looking at the most impactful changes that we have in our workflow, okay? A bit of a technicality part. Then you're going to get to look at the benchmark assets we have created.
It's really cool to see that not only is Star Citizen getting some very good hair done, but they're doing it in an MMO where we can flap other people with our hair and show them how much time we spent in the character customizer to get those luscious locks. And I love that. Fantastic. I don't have luscious locks. I'm not going to slap anybody with my hair. But I'm so glad you guys can. That's just great. Tell me more.
And from there, we're going to take a glimpse into the future of what hair could be with a more diverse hairstyle, where we're trying to run away a little bit from the military look that was driven mostly by what Squadron 42 was, so because we did a lot of work for that as well. And yeah, from there, as a last note, I'll have a special announcement for you guys, okay? Don't want to spoil it, but you stick around, you're going to love what we have, okay? So.
Oh, you haven't seen this yet, Anna? Oh yeah, this is great stuff.
Okay. Hair for games.
Thank you for the super chat, Willie.
It's really hard. Oh, by the way, did I tell you these are actually game-ready assets in the persistent universe?
See, there's more of that theme. Announcing stuff right there, coming into the game immediately. I love it.
Okay, game-ready performance.
Toter, thank you for gifting that sub out to Anna. Appreciate you.
So, hair is really hard, like I was saying. It is a AAA challenge, basically. You see games that get it, games that don't. Some of them get it more or less. Either way, for us, the challenge is the same. We're not different, and the challenge is real. With the scope of Star Citizen, like day-night cycles, all these light shafts, all this MMO, people running around with the hairs, a lot of motion, a lot of fast-paced movement. Yeah, it is hard. But the best thing is, we have arrived, okay? It is, yeah, clap. It is, it doesn't end here, okay? Yeah. It does not end here, okay? It's the nature of CIG. We just keep pushing the boundaries, but like I said, we're really proud of what we're showing you here today. So let's dive in what we made all this possible, okay?
No, we also saw the dusters earlier. They'll be in the next patch as well.
Basically, a successful hair requires 3 fundamental elements, okay? There's the texture, there's the placement, and there's also the shader. If one of these elements fails, all of them do, okay? So it's basically, you can have a great texture, great placement. If your shader is wrong, no go, really. And the same if the texture fails or if the placement fails. So really vital, really important that everything works together. But the good thing is, by breaking down the hair into these 3 parts, it also allows us to actually go deep into each of them and push the quality up. Or like Chris Roberts would say, bring the high fidelity, right?
Fidelity.
So, on the texture end, there was a lot of changes. What you see on the top there, the common approach of a AAA game would be to have true black, true white on a transparency map.
That was muted. Do we have any AAA game hair developers in chat that can talk about this? Because I really would like to know. You know, I look at the hair that they came up with. You guys are about to see it. It's incredible. If you haven't seen this presentation, this stuff is seriously impressive. But it feels like this actually made a huge difference because it looks really like wispy at the end, and I just want to know from an outside perspective, if you build hair that top way that they're showing and how it usually turns out, or what you try to do to get around that?
A bit of taper on the tips and roots and call it a day. That's what happens in 99% of the games. Now at CIG, we went a bit further than that. We tested all the thicknesses that were actually reasonable to test, of course, and we came to a realization. The hair doesn't need to be thin enough. It just needs to look thin. We do need it to be thicker enough, thicker than real life hair, because if you take one of your hairs, you'll see it's really thin, right? So it does need to be renderable. That means if it's really thin, it will be sub-pixel rendered at some point. With the motion and all that, we will get a lot of artifacts.
I'm asking for in chat who wants clarification, just the idea of this being the common approach. How common really is this, and are there actual drawbacks to this that you can see solved by this approach? That maybe, is it just that other companies don't want to spend the money to do this? Does it take too long to do this? Like, why does CIG have an approach that gives us such a great result that others don't? I'm always curious when I see somebody getting ahead in tech, how they were able to do that. And sometimes it's obvious, sometimes not so much. Love to hear from people in the industry who might have some insight into that.
And so that would be a no-go. We do need it to be thicker than in real life. But can we make it look thin? That was the question. So we came to the realization that from hair, or from scalp to hair, and from hair to the background, so these 2 points, the transition points, are the most important ones for the hair. So we aggressively tapered the tips, which is what you see over there, and added a gradient to it. So no longer true black and true white. Now, this is a lot of technicality. You will see practical examples of this, but that allowed us to have smooth transitions and basically achieve the result we expected. On the placement side, we came up with hair libraries, basically. Now, I could be here all day talking about hair libraries, okay? Because I'm a very technical person, and if you see me around the venue, feel free. I'm Andre. You can just come and talk to me about this. I'm not going to bother you all that for 1 hour about this.
Hello, Andre. Tell me about your hair libraries.
But
That's kind of
I'm going to give you a very quick example that you all can relate. So imagine in real life, you have a construction business, and you could make one wall, one roof, one floor, and one window. You make it all work together, and from there, you're not only building your house, you're actually building the whole town, and then the whole state, and then eventually the whole universe, right? That's what hair libraries are. Obviously, the result, if you could do that, it would be much cheaper, much faster, and above all, you wouldn't have a fruit salad of assets, which was what we had in the hair not too long ago. And by fruit salad, I mean several artists working through the years, each one of them applying their own workflow. Everybody's at different levels of quality, of course, different minds, different ways of seeing the same problem. So at the end of the day, fruit salad, right? And we wanted uniform quality. So for that, hair libraries are a great solution. We also decreased the time of production of hairs. So it was taking us 20 to 40 days to create one hairstyle per artist, okay? Right now, it's going from like 3 to 5, 7 days per hairstyle, which is that great news, okay? So yeah, that was a major achievement.
Hey, Space Wombat, I see you in chat. Yeah, so they mentioned the cards. Where are we? We're 3210. Going back here, they kind of talked about their approach with the cards and stuff. Where is that? Oh, maybe they don't get into that yet? Where do they talk about that? They talk about how they went from a card to a spline instead to represent the card. And that sort of helped them get this approach. Hey, Chachi, how's it going? Can we get a shout out for Chachi Sanchez?
So, hair
it's good to meet you.
Just
good to see you at CitizenCon, dude.
It's not just picking up a texture and putting it there. If you do that, like you need to actually see the scope. Gladly, we have some of the best artists in the world on hair working with us, so we managed to achieve this at the scope that we wanted. Now, on the shader side, there was plenty of changes as well. Some of them are very techy, very, very cool as well. I'm going to run through fast through some of them so you guys can understand the scope of what we're dealing with. But let's just understand, like at bake time, so bake time is prior to runtime. Runtime is where the game runs. Bake time, we're preparing the asset to actually put it in the engine. At bake time, we calculate the custom normal and we store it per vertex. So each vertex gets a custom normal. That makes, in a practical sense, for those who are not too technical, it basically makes the card, the air card, not look like a card. So the normals is help with the way the light reflects. We kind of do more smoke and mirrors on it and make it look not like a card by just baking it that way. Now, on the ambient occlusion, we store two baked ambient occlusions onto the color channels of the vertices as well. Now, each vertex on a mesh in any game has a color to it, okay? You might use it or not. Imagine in a car, you have a trunk. You can use it or not. It's up to you. It's not silly to use the car without using the trunk, of course, but if you have a luggage, you can put it there or in the back seat, wherever you want. Now, we decided to use this because it was free. The trunk was already there, so the vertex color was already there, and we just decided to store two ambient occlusions on it. These two ambient occlusions work this way. Light hairs, like a blonde hair, obviously needs more shadowing, or less shadowing than a dark hair, right? And so we store two. The length of the card is now baked onto the last one, and that gives us a metric of where the card starts and ends, and allows a lot of cool things you're going to see on the videos I'm about to show. So, one last thing before we can start looking at videos is that, and this is really creative, total credit for the people, for the tools programmers. I personally had nothing to do with this. This was already at CIG when I joined. It's absolutely amazing. So, we have an hairstyle that was ready, that you can see over there. And we have a hair cap. An hair cap is basically a mesh on top of the character's head, which is invisible, transparent. It is just there. Sometimes we use it for shadowing. That thing has an UV. And so we project the hair, or where the hair starts, onto that UV, and gives us that image that you see on the middle, right? And so we now have a 2D space that relates to a 3D location. Meaning that if I want to have hair like mine, which is white on the sides and dark on the top, I could just paint this part and get it white on one side and then dark on the top, which is an insane advancement, because cards normally are stacked on top of each other. So when an artist is placing cards, if you paint one card to make it white here, well, it's going to be stacked on top of the other, and you're going to get spots all over the place and no control over it. So this allows us to give control. And what you see on the last image is the possible result. For example, now I can paint one side of my 2D representation of my 3D space and get this possible result, which is pretty amazing. So, next video, we're going to take a look at our tools, okay? This is not the way it's going to be exposed to you guys in the character customizer. You'll know more about that later, okay? This is the tools we use we are able to actually create the hairstyles. So let's take a look at this video. You have the full range, so you can go for full white. These are melanin ranges, so realistic ranges. Fully white up to black. Obviously, you can go redhead as well. Get out of the way. You also have the dye feature, where you can see all the things we talked about implemented. You can go a bit more wild on this. And this is why important the length of the card is stored in those vertex. And obviously you can fade it as well as much as you do. So all the possible combinations between the realistic melanin ranges and the dye layer, okay? This is how the occlusion is working, so you can see these shadowings creating more negative spaces, more structure to the hair.
Yeah, the shadow is
And
really
if you look
something.
at the temporal line here, you can see how this pixel depth of set helps us with the transitions as well. Cool. By the way, did I tell you these are actually game-ready assets, ready to go to PU?
See now, he says that quite a few times during this demo, and I really don't know exactly what he means. I don't know if, because is he saying that the whole thing, all the coloring, they did not confirm that the character creator was coming in this year. But they did confirm that, he keeps saying these are game-ready assets. So I'm like, so then we can change our hair color. Is that what he's saying? Two-tone hair is going to be in the game this year? Because that would mean that the character creator would have to be there, right? It's kind of confusing, the messaging on this part, but we can debate it, I guess.
So now that we
No,
understand
he literally said they're coming in the game.
a bit better how the hair is working, that's why the boring part that I told you just before, you can examine these images with a bit more of an informed opinion. That is basically the example. Now,
Character creator 2023-22, don't see how it's confusing? I mean, if you can give me the timestamp where they say that, then I will agree it's not confusing. But until then, I haven't heard them say it, but I would like to.
that's all very exciting, but we want to show you hairstyles that are actually in Star Engine and working. So that's the video we're going to take a look next, okay?
This is one of their good songs. Somebody needs to do a comparison of these assets with the, because I feel like these are haircuts that we already have in game. A lot of these, maybe not this one, but some of those other ones. I like this. I like this hair. I mean, it looks really freaking good, especially like the contrast. It's the shadowing that freaking gets me. It looks deeper, you know. It looks like softer. Yeah, the Karen haircut's gonna be a go-to, I think for sure. Like top combat trooper haircut. Doesn't get in your eyes. Want to ask even more performance-wise? I was actually sitting next to one of the guys who works on the engine, Sylvan. He does like a lot of the Gen 12 rendering stuff. And he leans over to me during one of these panels and he's like, we free up more engine power so the game runs better. And they do this. It's like, that's how batteries work, right? We get better battery tech and then everybody makes everything use more power.
Great, guys. So I can see by your feedback that you really enjoyed the dive, so I'm going to try and direct things that way next time. Okay, yeah, these are game-ready assets as well. Now, like I promised you, we're trying to make this diverse and get away a little bit from this type of hairstyles you just seen now, which is a bit more military. And for that, we'll have the next video. Now, it's important for you to understand if there's any 3D artists, character artists, air artists out there, you will know. Some of the hairstyles you're going to see next are some of the hardest things you can do in hair for games. In a practical sense, if you can do what is going to be shown next and render it at 60 frames per second on an MMO, you can do pretty much anything. Okay? It's our glimpse into the future of what type of diversity we want to achieve. We're not only going for this style, but just showing you that if this style is one of the directions, then the full range will come. I hope you enjoy.
So this was actually, I was very sad that I didn't get to see this. I had to walk out for an interview right as this was coming up. So I missed this all. And I was super excited, but then I got to see it a little bit closer and I do realize that there's still some work to be done here on this hairstyle. But I'm glad to see that they're focusing on it. And I'm really glad to hear that they're going to continue to develop it and make it, you know, correct in terms of texture and curl. But this is really freaking awesome to see. I've been waiting for this kind of stuff a long time. Yeah, it looks really good. Like, it already looks great. I think they've done fantastic work on this. It's better than any other game I've seen, I think, in terms of this hairstyle. And I can't wait to see how they improve it.
Thank you, guys. So yeah, like I've been saying, these pictures you see here, they are all rendered as you've seen in real time, depending on the light conditions and stuff. But there is no tricks here. This is actually how it looks. And that's why we're really proud. Like I said, it doesn't end up here, okay? We're pushing this forward. This is just to replace the stuff that was there. I'm pretty sure you guys were tired. Nobody at CIG was happy with what we had. I can assure you that. Yeah. Especially as an air artist, right? So, but we finally arrived. Now, we've seen all this. What does this mean in a practical sense for you guys? It's the question you may have. Well, let me tell you really fast. We made over 75 hairstyles since like 6 months ago. On the last 6 months, we made 75 hairstyles. That is a lot. That was possible with all the changes we made. Yeah. Yeah. That is a great achievement. Now, we cannot hand them all to you right now. It's very simple. It's very simple. It doesn't end up here at the artist end, okay? After this, there's a tech art pass where they need to skin it, they need to make it work with hats, with goggles, with everything that needs to work, right? So it's a process that takes time, but we wanted to have a certain amount, a quantity that would be enough to replace all the stuff that it's there, give you enough variety for you to start, and that's what we're going to see next. Now, it also tells you when are you getting it. So, as a last note, I'll leave you with this video, and next, Forrest will come here to talk about this stuff. So, let's take a look at this, guys. This is actually what you're getting. Into the PU.
Yo, that last one. Oh my gosh, look what they've done with this over here. Wow. Look at the detail of that hair. Okay, but in all seriousness, these do look good. These look great. So not just game ready asset, they are confirming that these will be coming in the next 2 months. But that's just that first set of hair. It's not all of the hair we saw.
These hairstyles. It was a pleasure to be here.
So yeah, that answers it. It's just these styles. We did not see the duotone style. So that stuff won't be coming in. It's just the new hairstyles themselves. Come on. There we go.
Get to enjoy these hairstyles. It was a pleasure to be here with you today, guys, and see you in the verse.
No, I think the beards come
Another
later.
round of applause for Andre and getting new hairs into the game. I can't wait to put new hair on my character, I'll tell you that. And for Ian and his awesome character team and the amazing characters they showed us earlier. Absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna run through this, we don't have a lot of time. I'm going to talk to you about character heads. We've talked about hair. We have talked about outfits. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the heads and our pipeline and getting us from the actors that we hire to do the photogrammetry all the way to the game characters. So we have a DNA pool, expansion, and customization I'm going to be taking you through. We made a data-driven pipeline for adding new heads. So what is a DNA pool? DNA pool is just a bunch of heads that we put into the game. That way you can modify the ears, the nose, the chin, the mouth, and you could interpolate between all the different heads. A DNA pool. We want to expand the pool and allow for more selection and range. So we scanned 60 new heads for our DNA pool, 60 new heads.
Now,
And
you
we
might be
processed
wondering,
them
okay, 60 heads, but what does that mean in context? He's going to show you in a minute. It's pretty impressive.
Internally. We also added customizable facial features, skin tones, complexion, makeup layer on top, revisited the eyes. These characters look new and they look great. All right, so our current pool, there's the 18 heads right there, but that wasn't enough. We need more. That is our new pool.
That's pretty nuts. Like, they really did expand it out. And it seems like a really wide variety of like face types of people and shapes and details and frowns. Very cool to see how much they're adding into the customization though.
Very exciting. Right now in the PU, when you're playing, see that center row? You get 9 females and 9 males. And now we're going to be getting all these characters. It's for Squadron and the Persistent Universe. How do we do it? Well, we partnered with Clear Angle over in Pinewood, London. And they have this thing called the Clear Angle Dorothy Scanner. The scanner improvements allows us to get shoots done in 4 weeks of sessions. Custom coded flash that just kind of does it automatically, all calibrated. in seconds. To give you an idea, our old process for doing this took hours to calibrate. This thing does it in seconds. Talk about state of the art. Average of 4 scan actors per day now. We used to be doing 1. What this means to you is we can get you characters faster. We can get you new heads faster. Polarized image data resulted in improved spec, blah, blah, blah. Those are awesome texture maps that we can put on the head. That way we can render them, make them look really good. Photogrammetry captured in raw images at 8K texture map resolutions. Hyper accurate scan results. Now,
yeah, so guys, if you are sensitive to light or flashing, please close your eyes for this part. It's going to be a lot of cameras going off.
Close your eyes if you're a little sensitive to light. This is the process we use to get the pictures, to build the photogrammetry, to calibrate the cameras.
Still going. All right, flashing should be done, guys.
Oh, relax.
Oh, wait. Sorry, one more. Sorry.
All right. Those are all built using all these things that I've briefly mentioned. I want to talk to you a little bit about skin tone, though. Skin tone's tricky because we want to apply it. We want to be able to customize it. We want you to have the ability to do whatever you want. So what you see is some really weird-looking characters. We see a head with some yellow. Yellow's good in this case. What we're trying to do is we're trying to find the average skin color.
This is a freaking
Once
cool
we
way to do
find the
skin.
average
I didn't even
skin
think
color,
about this.
We can figure out what that skin tone is, and then we can apply it. The blue means it's further away from the average skin tone. So when you apply your skin tone, it has less influence, keeping those high details, keeping the color, the blemishes, the imperfections. That middle one, that whitehead, that's where we get once we've extracted the data. It's now ready to apply the skin tone, which you see at the end.
It's so detailed.
All right, so here's a little more detail what I'm talking about. We knew that we were going to get a pool for these heads, this pool of all these different awesome shapes, noses, ears, lips. But now, with what we're doing currently, you can see that we have calibrated all of our source photos of our actors. And with that, we could figure out exactly what they're supposed to look like. And then once I extract and do the average thing, I'm able to get a value. And that value translates into a skin tone. And that skin tone translates into a chart that you can customize your character with. And what's great about this is as we grow our pool and we get more heads, we get more skin tones. So our skin tones aren't based on, you know, whatever it should be. What should it be? What does it look like? These are real data. These are real data that we get from these incredible clear angle scans and the incredible tech that is written by our staff. And the skin tone will grow along with our head data and along with our heads. And there's an example of me just applying it and showing that in practice. And now here's another look. Here's a couple more characters that I put together with this stuff. And here's what's great about that. I did that with our brand new character creator, character customizer for Squadron 42.
Yeah, see, he says for Squadron 42. I hate that.
Head you see in here, which will also be applied to the persistent universe, so all heads are in the verse. And as you can see right here, here's a little scene I put together using the outfits, using the hair, using the skin, using the heads. And I did that all with the new character creator. And here to show you that, it's a live demo of the character creator, I'm gonna bring back my good friend Sean Tracy.
Thanks, buddy. Give me. Oh, that's awesome. All right, so what's this all mean to you guys? Let's show ya. Time for live demo. All right, so I want to welcome you to the Biotic Corp Calliope machine.
Kind of a bummer there's no
All right, so here you can
like body shape customization, but it makes sense for the for animations and stuff. I don't think we'll be able to change the shape of our body too much in terms of like height or weight or anything like that.
see we've got the whoa, I'm getting feedback. You can see we've got 2 body types that I can select from at any point in time. So we're going to start in right away. Now, you might recall how the character creator currently works. You would have a whole bunch of source heads from our DNA pool. We would select one of the facial shapes, and then we'd blend it up or down, depending on how much you wanted that certain facial shape. Now, this
I
was pretty
still
good,
like this
but
method,
it's not the
so I'm
most
glad they're
intuitive
keeping
of
it.
systems. So instead, what we wanted to come up with was a much more intuitive way to control this. And what we've now introduced is sculpting mode. So it's quite interesting to know what's going on behind the scenes, and this wasn't an easy problem to solve, but our animation programmers and tech artists and everybody came together, and they figured out a way to basically make it so that from the DNA pool, we are making a selection based on what you want out of it. So it's going on between all the different options. Now, I'm going to start making some changes here right away. So I want to wind up the nose.
Is this a thing? Is like the whole sculpting thing? I haven't seen that before. Is that something that goes on with other game content character creators?
You can see that it's all very intuitive. It's fast to use. I'm going to make the lips a little bit bigger here. There we go, something like that. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to adjust the brow here, maybe make a little bit of a heavier brow. Now we can adjust the eye shape. We can go more almond eyes. We can go more oval. We can have a heavy lid. You know, I can find a whole bunch of different options within here.
Generally, it's just MMOs that do this. What do you mean by Sims? Like,
So here,
like
pretty good. I
like
wanna give
The
him a
Sims,
little
the
bit
game?
More of a hero chin. And there we go. I'm liking that. Yes, that's cool. All right. So
Black Desert
don't
Online
spend
does
too
this?
much time on that. I want to show you some of the other features. And speaking of features, we go to our skin tone. So finally, you're not just selecting a preset.
Pretty
skin
interesting.
tone.
It's a really cool way of character customization.
This is melanin and hemoglobin at the same time. So at the very top of it, I've got a texture slider. So instead of the whole head sort of selection, we can go between all the different textures. Now, like Forrest mentioned, we're going to have 30 of these for one body type and 30 for the other body type. So here, I'm kind of liking, what am I like? Oh, I like this one. So here, and I'm just going to set a skin tone that I kind of like, something like that. That's cool. All right, so the next step in our skin tone is the complexion. And complexion, we've added freckles.
This is awesome. This is something that really bummed out Mrs. Tomato as somebody who loves and works the freckles. In Starfield, they don't let you have them, which was actually really weird to see. So this was like a really, oh, yep, there she is in chat. Freckles! Yeah. This was like, it's just, I don't care, and I think this is kind of my problem. Can I just get up on my soapbox for a second here, guys? All right, I just loves the freckles. We love your freckles. I actually meant to say just works, but I also said loves. Just a little soapbox moment. The person who was just in YouTube chat who was talking about how do we really need blue hair and purple hair and politics and stuff. I think we can all agree that Star Citizen is not being built for us, right? And when I say us, I mean each of us individually. This game is not made for me or you or anybody in this chat. Yeah, it's made for literally every person who loves a space game. Chris Roberts set out to make an amazing space game, and the more options that he can give for people to want to enjoy that in their own way, the better. So, like, forget about the whole drawing lines for how much we can customize our characters. Freaking freckles, sunspots, all right? I want to be able to customize my dandruff, dude. I love this stuff. I like that they're building this thing so robust. Yeah, it's a lot of time. Yeah, it's a lot of money. But this is an MMO, and it's going to be a freaking long MMO. Let people enjoy it.
So here I'm just blending in and I'm blending out the amount of freckles. Now I've cranked it all the way to the top just so you guys can see it. But for my character here, I'm going to keep it kind of subtle, like this, but quite a few of them, something like that. We've also got sunspots. Now this is, you know, a little more weathered skin. We'll give this sort of look. And we've got a whole bunch of different blemish masks planned for you guys, whether that's sunspots or liver spots or anything to that effect.
I'm not going to lie, like... I love the details of the, like, this is always a thing in game. I always see all the weird things you can add to your face that technically are like health, I don't even know what to call it, degeneracy, like things that are opposed to health. Specifically things like sunspots and you know, I guess liver. I don't actually know what liver spots come from. Wait, do liver spots just come from having a bad liver? I don't actually. As a kid, I always thought liver spots were called liver spots because they looked like livers. And then I realized that it can't be that everyone just knows what livers look like. There must be a different reason for that. But yeah, aging mechanics have always been something that I stay away from, but I think it's really cool because you can make just like this super badass veteran person who like acts like the youngest person out there. Yo, Stakargord, you're the best. You're the best. This community is the best, honestly. Like, I'm gonna invoke Mrs. Tomato again. The game, all this stuff we saw, everything that, all the panels and stuff, the game is freaking sick. All right, and I'm sure there are plenty of people who are here just for the game, but those who are here for the community, like she said, that was the best part of CitizenCon. I love the game, I really do, but being at CitizenCon, meeting everybody, getting to hang out with folks, and like sharing the joy of it all was easily the best part. So the community is the best, and seeing the community happy is honestly, I like that a lot more. I'll wait a couple extra years if the community is happier. Like, take 2 years on Squadron, guys. Let's get what we want. Let's get what we waited for.
This guy kind of a weathered look because I think the skin tone looks pretty cool like that. Yeah, I'm digging that.
Sorry, I'm off my
All right,
soapbox.
so next up, eyes. So no longer do we have the green and the brown, just the full selection. You've got a full RGB chart of what you want to select. So if you want to have bright green eyes, if you want to have hazel eyes, if you want to have blue eyes, if you want to have any of these eyes, this is all very, very nice. So again, we can go with deep browns.
I want no pupils. Can I do that? Just white orbs.
Dig in for this skin tone. I quite like that look. That's cool. Oh, well, we'll get into some funky colors. Don't you worry. All right. So one of the other things we've added, and it was mentioned before, we've added a makeup layer.
Hey.
And with the makeup layer, we're totally inclusive. Any of the body types can have makeup.
Why didn't Sean do a little bit of touching up on tutorials for this part? Why didn't he go on YouTube? You know, do a little looking around, do some practice. Come on, Sean. I wanted to see what he could pull out.
Now, I don't want to spend too long on it here because we're going to get into it.
You know, I bet you he's actually really good. And he's in front of everybody. So he's like, you know, I'm not going to take too long on this. It's not that important. Yeah, it's whatever. Meanwhile, like the other devs are like, yeah, they don't know Sean spent 2 weeks working on this part of it. That'd be so funny.
In a couple minutes. But I just want to show you sort of blending that in, blending that out for this particular body type. So next, as Andre talked about, we have all the hairstyles that you could want.
No heterochromia or tetrachromacy. That's different colored eyes or different colored pupils. Interesting. That is a good notice.
So
I'm not gonna lie. While this character creator is awesome, there are some like little things from other creators that aren't in there. You win some, you lose some, I guess.
just gonna pick a couple different ones. There's a a reality for some of us.
Your auntie has the
another
Tetra
reality
one?
for another one of us. There it is. That's what I want my reality to be here. Something like this. I'm digging my reality
Yo, this dude looks real pretty with that hair. What?
to be here. Something like this. I'm digging the mohawk though for this one. He's got a bit of a Mr. T look.
But
to
yeah,
him.
this is
I
what I'm
kinda
talking
like this.
about.
Yeah.
Like when I was mentioning earlier, the whole thing with the ends of the tips of the hair. This is like, it looks so fluffy and soft. I love that detail. I hope it looks like that when we're actually playing.
Yeah, I pity the fool. All right. So it might go without saying that we've got beards now. So if you want to select a full beard, you can select a full beard. If you want just mutton chops, you got your mutton chops. You want your handlebar, you got your handlebar. All right. So we've got all the different beard types that you could want, and we're going to add as many as you guys really want. So I'm kind of digging the full beard for this guy. Yeah, I'm digging the full beard for this guy. Even further to that, we've got eyebrow selection, which is, I mean, you could go with no eyebrows. That's a very real. You could have bushy ones. You can have a little bit more, normal, kind of straightforward ones. But it was mentioned before during the hair and with Forrest's discussion that we've got the hair dye as well. So with the hair dye, you can affect all the hair at once, and right now I've got all selected, so I can go through the gamut of all the different hair melanin that you can set. So here I'm just going to darken it up a little bit, and if I wanted to dye the facial hair, I could just dye the facial hair all by itself, setting a dye color here, something like that. But in the end, I'm really digging the jet black on this particular one. So I'm going to frost these tips a little bit. I think that's going to look kind of cool. Let's set a bit of a blonde here, turn up the dye amount. And then what's really cool about this, and I'll show this in a minute, is that we can actually control the fall off of it. So again, if I just want this on the tips, I can just
that's
blend it
okay.
Right
See, now that
about here.
I've never really thought I wanted to do that until I saw this, and now I'm like, I'm gonna get a blonde tipped fro, because we've been wanting to do my hair blonde actually for a little while, but we haven't gotten around to it. Now I can trial it out in Star Citizen. Unfortunately, this will probably not come to us faster than I can do that to my hair. So, but this is really cool. I love the idea of being able to like change the hair in different areas and stuff. Wonder how many ways you can do it. Can I like have 6 different colors, like a pie chart of colors down my head? Would that be weird? Would you guys still hang out with me? Is that okay? I know that one guy that was in chat wouldn't. Just a tip.
So there we go. He looks a lot different than how that started, and I think that's actually
I definitely
pretty
want
fun. Now,
froze.
there's a lot of stuff in here, and I can't wait for you guys to explore it and spend as much time as you want customizing and expressing yourself as a character. So once you're done, you've got to sign off a personal declaration that the physical appearances that the calliope process has allegedly caused are okay with you. So let's go to our next body type. All right. So I'm going to go to town here real fast, right away. And you might think it looks a little off or so, but I don't know. We're going to get there. Let's make some changes here. I'm going to adjust the bridge of the nose, maybe a little bit of the cheekbones here. That's maybe a little extreme. Let's go back here, something like that. And I'll make the lips
froze fit in helmets. I ride a motorcycle with the fro all the time.
a little bit smaller here, and I'm going to lengthen that chin for a little more of a triangle kind of face here. So you can see, you can tweak to your heart's content. You can spend a lot of time doing this. And I don't really like the brows. I like a little bit softer of a brow for this particular character.
Calliope is the name of the character creator.
So next, just like we did before, we go into features. We can do the skin tone. I'm going to select a certain texture here just because we Gotta get going on time here. Let's go. Something around here is looking pretty good to me. Cool.
For everybody who's wondering, because this actually does come up sometimes, afro doesn't actually have to be that tall. It's really just off the top of the head, not a buzz cut. You could have like a 1 inch, 2 inch, 10 inch. Really, it changes. So yeah, like you have a 3-inch afro, you wear a helmet, now it's a 1-inch afro. Calliope is also a moon, yes, but Calliope was a person's name first. So it was a name. It's been used for a lot of things throughout the lore, like moons and character creators and probably bombs or something.
All right, we go into the complexion the same way that we did before. So we start with the freckles. And I kind of like a real freckled appearance on this particular character. And I'm going to turn down the sunspots. So we move forward to the eye color again. Ooh, I'm really digging the green. Yeah, I like the green kind of look. And we get to the makeup. Now, this is where I wanted to spend more time. Now, I'm arguably not very good at this, but I will do my absolute best to show you guys how you can use it. So first is the eyeliner. So the eyeliner, we can do any color. You can go as crazy or as chill as you want to go with this. But for this particular, I'm going to go quite dark here.
He tries. He does.
dark
Yeah, he set her eyes so far apart.
Here, we'll do in the inner lid eyeshadow.
But you know what? That's a thing. That happens.
Same
That's
theme,
okay.
I think. Yeah, and we're going to do the same thing with the broad eyeshadow. So again, we can go as crazy or as calm as you want.
He goes heavy.
What I've had good success in doing is kind of having it cranked, and then I just pull it back to a
Yeah, it
little
does still look
more
realistic.
of a natural blend, something to this effect here. Next is the lips. We can do the exact same stuff on the lips. Now, what we have is a whole bunch of different makeup masks, and you've got 3 different channels within those masks, so basically 3 different colors that are affecting different areas of it. Now, for the lips, we can go with the same sort of theme if we wanted, and I think I'm actually kind of digging that. And let's go on the lip liner, a little darker. And then lips are a lot more glossy, so we can increase the gloss there. So
The blending isn't between real faces anymore, because you can do sculpting. He constructed this face by dragging and by grabbing and dragging. He didn't do the DNA blending.
Lip gloss. Yeah, that looks pretty cool there. And then, like I was doing before, I kind of just pull it back a little bit. And there we are. So next, I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. I have no business doing that, that's for sure.
Oh, really? The sculpting isn't custom?
Same thing on the hair. Again, we've got a whole bunch of different hairstyles. These will all be shared between the 2 body types.
I see. That's my bad, guys.
Demo. We've got the ponytail. We've got the slick back kind of look. Yeah, I'm not finding one I'm really digging yet. All
right, guys. I get it.
Yes, now we're talking. All right, so cool. Now, again, we're fully inclusive here, guys. So if you want facial hair on any body type,
Dude, this hair works.
you got facial hair on
You
any
don't even
body
notice the
type.
eyes.
That is up to you guys.
I could probably do a little bit better with the makeup.
So on the eyebrows, I'm just going to leave them because we can't really see them anyways. But for the hair, I really like dyeing this hair a certain color, sort of, something in the darker range. I'm going to turn that down. I like the nice jet black. Look at the makeup bounce out. That looks cool.
Yeah, it looks better.
I'm going to turn up the dye, though, and I'm going to try to carry my same theme forward here. There we go. And then I'm going to give it a bit of a fall off. As we can do.
Okay, every time he does this, I'm like, cyberpunk. We're cyberpunk now.
So let's see that in action.
That's freaking sick.
All right. So now, at first, we weren't sure about that character, right? But in the end, I think she turned out, definitely. So you go to a review, sign off your declaration again, and head to game. So you know, I'm really lucky to be able to sit in front of this. And again, it was a huge amount of work from tech art, engineering, designers, and specifically the squadron feature team that has done all this work. And one of the cool things to note is that we use this now internally as a tool. That's why it's me up here demoing this. This is our tool internally for creating all these heads, for creating all the NPCs in the verse. Because as Chris put it one time, he doesn't want his NPCs to look lame. He wants them to look cool. And this gives you cool looking characters. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, the character creator is pretty sick. This is so much better than what we have now. I didn't even realize the sculpting was going between the hairstyles. I thought that was the different faces. I thought that was a completely different thing. So yeah, I mean, there's obviously no mention of when this might be coming in. Yeah, I think this looks really good. I think the character creator itself is way better featured. It looks like it's gonna support a lot more of like just being able to create a person you actually are excited to look at. I don't even spend time in the character creator. Do you guys? I don't spend time partially because it gets wiped, but I also don't spend time a lot because I just never get a good person out of it, you know?